And I got so stressed out when he was outside the ship. I'm like, this scene is way too long. I mean, he's got to make it, right? Because I don't know if he's going to make it, because this is that kind of story. He was supposed to die in space anyway. Can you stop having him hang out in space?
All right, got a funeral foam macchiato for Charles. This one's just hot and sad. One graveyard grind drip for Josh, or both. Somebody come get this.
What were you yammering on about? I couldn't pay attention. I can't multitask. I'm a man.
Wow.
That's true.
I got in touch with my feminine side, and that's why I'm the rock god of podcasting. Because I can do it all. I was giving you grief of two things. I was giving you grief about showing up 10 minutes early is like an hour late, and you heard that one, I think. Yeah, and then your energy was like way too low for our show this morning. You need some more coffee, sir.
Dude, I've already been on an hour and a half walk. I showered, made coffee. Dude, I'm ready to go. What are you doing?
I'm coming in hot, and you're like,
I was like this when you open. So like I went in and Zoom's like, oh, I'll tell Charles you're here.
Yeah.
Then like you're not there, so I'm like, all right. So I'm like focused on the settings. I'm like, because I hate when I move from side to side on here. Look at that.
Yeah.
Why does it still do that? It's all turned off.
Why is it still auto balancing? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't understand. So as long as I stay like right in the center of the screen, I'm good, I guess.
We'll see. We'll see if you're good.
Let's see.
So
exposure. There it is. Now it doesn't do it.
Now it has a cool effect because you have just that space behind your headphones that you get a dot of light as you move. So it's almost like it's moving through your head and we can see through you. It's crazy.
That's what I meant to do.
Crazy. You know what else is crazy? People hating on Hail Mary Project. Why would you hate on the Hail Mary Project? It's a great movie.
Who have you heard hate on it?
I'm sure somebody's hating on it. I just really wanted to get to talk to you about Hail Mary Project. That was my segue.
Dude, it is. Man, I'm going to probably listen to it again when we travel to Dragon Con. That'll be my 6th time through. Have you ever listened to the book yet or read it?
No.
Dude, you should. You'll still enjoy it.
So I've heard.
Everything you love about the movie, but like heightened by like 10 times. So,
you know,
I was hoping the movie would have been like 4 or 5 hours long, but it was only 2 hours and 47 minutes.
You need it to be a Dune movie where it's 3-hour movies and it's just one book.
But it's actually good.
But it's yeah, no, you're right. Yeah,
I'm just gonna sip on my coffee here.
Yeah, that
Chalamet.
If I had to find one thing to complain about with that movie, not enough coffee. Not enough coffee in that movie. Just saying.
You're right, because in the book, when he's talking about eating, it's way more involved how the machine takes care of him eating. Like it goes from when he wakes up, it goes from coma slurry, which is just like a milkshake.
Yeah.
So all the way until he gets to like breakfast burritos and full dinners. But the ship in the book knows when he's in that when he's in zero gravity, it gives him a pouch of coffee that he can sip through a straw like a Capri Sun.
Nice.
But when he's in like when the centrifuge is running and he has gravity, it gives him a regular cup of coffee.
That's fun.
But they didn't do that in the movie.
No, they didn't give us our Capri coffee.
Come on, Ryan Gosling.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene? Oh my gosh. I think when you finally found out that he was, I have 2. When you finally found out the twist, so spoiler alert coming up, big spoiler. You find out that he was drugged to go there. Like Strat had to drug him and he didn't go willingly.
That was so funny. The chase and everything.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for what? For what I have to do now.
And then my other favorite scene, just like in the book, when at the very end, when you find out he's teaching the kids, I just I start crying. I'm like, oh my god, he's teaching again. It's all these aliens. I just love it, man. I just love it. I'm a big movie crier. What about you? What's your favorite scenes from Project Hail Mary?
I want to see it again. So before I even talk about my favorite scene, my wife, we have the A list, so we try to go at least once a week to a film. It doesn't happen, but we're trying to justify the cost of it, so on and so forth. Because now stuff is starting to drop, and it's going to be wanting to go all the time.
Big summer.
And yeah, and so she said, "Oh, I'm going to take our son to go see a movie. We're going to go see Hail Mary." I'm like, "Really?" Because I wanted to go. I told you I wanted to go see Hail Mary. I was hoping to catch it in the Screen Unseen because that's so much fun. They do this thing called Screen Unseen where you literally know it's when it's rated and the time to show up, basically, and that's about it. And of course, we did not catch it in that, but she went and she came back. She said, "I'm sorry." I'm like, "For what?" She goes, "I really liked it." I'm like, "Oh, you're kidding. We're still going." And she said, after she saw it the second time, she said, because I asked her, "Is it enjoyable enough to go another time?" Because I thought so, because I enjoyed it. And she said, "Well, it was fun the first time because all surprises, twists, all that. It was fun the second time because she knew where I would laugh or how I'd react to certain things, and that made it as much fun." And I say that to say she hates like every movie. She's not a huge movie fan. I think her and Rachel are probably very similar that way.
I was going to say Rachel is the same way about movies. It's like she will go and she will go for us, but she's
right.
Like, she could take it or leave it.
From the first date, because I really wanted, honestly, I just not for the show. This is true. I wanted to take my wife to a coffee shop because I wanted to sit and know her, and I liked coffee, and I felt like that was like the safe space for me. And the town we live in now still doesn't have that kind of coffee shop. They have the Starbucks and whatnot, but they didn't even have that then. And that's where she lived. This is her hometown. And so we went to a movie, and afterwards, I think we were talking about. She's like, once we started dating, so I really don't care about the movie. I'll go for the popcorn. Is what she wants. So then I got in real trouble once AMC started selling the bags of popcorn. You could just go buy from them and leave. And then I was like, well, I know we would have watched the movie too. Anyway, all right, favorite scene. Honestly, the one that he just did not play over the top. He did not do what I thought he would do in it was when he had to reveal to Rocky that he did not, it was a one-way shot. There was no fuel to go back. And he's like, "No, man, it's this and that and the other." And then Rocky's like, "No, I'll give it to you. It'll just take me 7 years." And just the freeze and the tear and he just wiped his face. I thought he'd have like a bigger reaction because that's how Hollywood would be, like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, and Rocky's like, I thought you said you didn't care." He's like, "Oh no, that's just something you say." And but he didn't even see. I gave it more inflection. Like he just played it so subtly, like just a true shock of human nature. Of you don't go over the top. You're still processing. That was, he didn't like ball. He didn't like fall out. He didn't go crazy. It was just, oh no, man, that's just something you say. I thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
That is such a great scene, and I was kind of hoping a lot of fans online were hoping that the author, or not the author, but the narrator of the book, was going to play Rocky. But it turned out the puppeteer who did it, he wasn't going to do it either. But then once he started working on the movie, they decided just to use his voice. So I'm pretty happy for him too. Like I guess he's going to be nominated for a couple things too for that. But it's still, the crazy thing, man, is it's still in theaters. It's still making money.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that it's not a franchise movie. It's not another.
They'll figure that one out now, won't they? Yeah.
Oh, somebody talked about that, making a second one, and I was like, go to hell.
Yeah.
There can't be a second one.
Yeah. Now, before I saw it, my wife, before I saw it, my wife's like, well, they kind of left it over for a second one. And then I saw it, I'm like, no, they didn't.
No.
Well, I mean, I guess the one throwaway line, "Hey, we've gotten in touch with Earth," or "We've heard from Earth," or whatever, they fixed it. But to me, that was like you did it, man. Everything got back. Your home planet's safe. And then like, well, we can send you back. And he's like, hell to the no. Is basically his answer.
It's almost like people talking about a second Goonies. They're making that They're not. They're not.
I've heard they're making that.
I've heard that for 10 years. It's just never going to happen. The only thing like Goonies to me, and it's not something I grew up on. Goonies was something I discovered later, which is crazy because it holds up and I loved it. But the only thing I hate about Goonies, and maybe this is why it's good, but at the end when that ship is like passing by and they're looking at
the pirate ship,
go get it. Go swim out to that thing right now and go get it. But maybe they did that.
That thing was trucking pretty good.
Dude, for what was on it, you could get the Coast Guard and you could find it. Like, I mean,
that's the thing. They couldn't make it. I mean, even if you try to do a reboot, how do you do that today? There's so much technology and so much greed in this world. Yeah. Like, it would just be whatever boat equates to Air Force One, and it's like, nope, this is the government property now. F off, you kids. Nothing ever happened here.
Yeah. Now, what if that's what happened? Like, that was the beginning of the second movie. Like, they talked about how they got the boat. Mm-hmm. They not only sold all the treasure on the boat, but they sold the boat itself. And like, Mikey's like this tech billionaire kind of thing, and it's just kind of, he has this mundane life, and then his kids discover something in the woods, and then they're off on an adventure. You know, that's probably what it's going to be.
And it's a Jumanji game, so they're crossing over and tying it in. Yeah.
I have something to tell you about Jumanji, but I can't tell you right now. I will let you see the video, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay. I was like, did you guys wiggle your way to Jumanji 3 somehow? Don't make me wait for that. I want to look for you.
But you commented on one of our recent videos where, and it was actually a repost where I asked, what was the moment you knew you were straight?
Yeah.
Jackson talks about Karen Gillan from Jumanji.
Yeah.
It's a similar thing, but it's pretty good. I can't wait for you to see it.
God, that is just, I only comment if I have an instant thought. And I do mix some Calvin's older. Jackson's older. Damn it. So I'm gonna try to get that in hand because so I can make direct comments. But the way that would play out, that was like, yeah, tell me you haven't hit that moment yet, kiddo. Just the way he leaned into that bit of I was like,
Yeah, no, he is so afraid. And we talked about this we were podcasting the other day on Relatively Terrible. I was like, dude, why are you so afraid to tell us if you are attracted to someone? And then I remembered back to the weekend when we were out at a store and we saw this girl he knew, and we razzed him so hard.
Yeah. You can't. Yeah,
so that's why he won't tell us.
No, I was the same way growing up. Well, without diving into everything yet, the over the surface value is sheltered, repressed, deep Southern Baptist, and without realizing at the time, not a real connection to the family. It was more of a 1980s TV connection where the parents, my parents weren't that absent. They weren't like holding the newspaper and like, I'm off to save the world. I'm like, okay, whatever. It wasn't quite that, but it had the vibes. And of course, I was always looking for connection, as a kid. And so I liked every girl that breathed basically once I started getting into girls. And the second that my mom and sister thought, okay, so there's photos. I'd gone to somebody's 15th birthday party. It turned out to be a dance party. How do you dance at 15? Not today, not now that we have Fortnite and everything, teaching these people stuff to do. How did you dance when you were 15?
I didn't. If I did, I would probably I'm sure there was a lot of grinding going on.
Okay, depends on repressed Southern Baptist. Okay, so you add that in. So it's just not necessarily, but it's the feel, it's the area, it's deep South Georgia.
It's usually maybe hands, but a lot leave room for the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and then you kind of step. All you do is rock side to side.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
I wasn't grinding.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know what that is, Charles.
I believe you because I've seen photos of you holding a guitar. Nobody's going to grind on that. No. So, anyway, that's all it was. And didn't think, well, of course, I thought everything was like, I danced with a couple of girls. I like this one. I started talking to her. And that was it. We're just, literally call in, talking, whatever. Back then, you had a landline and had to call where she lived with her grandparents and ask her grandpa, "Can I speak to Robin?" And so,
Was
small
that you
town
as a teenager?
Well, okay, no, I was always probably like at 14, I was probably like this, but
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I was like, that was way too high for you.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Anyway, so small town. My mom runs into somebody at a grocery store, and they, oh yeah, here's some pictures from the party. I thought you might like it because it's a picture of me and some girl dancing or whatever. And it's exactly like you. And my mom came out, was like, oh, I mean, blew it out. Like, you're already 15, you're already awkward and self-conscious about things, and came home and was like, why didn't you tell her? I mean, in a semi-positive way, but went so hard on the ooh and the ohs. And what's crazy about it was the conflict of, from the time I hit 10 years old, maybe even earlier, I was told I am not allowed to date until two things happen. One, I am 16, period. And two, there was some class by James Dobson for adults to help fix their marriage, that they had a youth version that was alongside the adults one. So basically I just sat through the adults one of how to fix your marriage because it sucks, 4-day conference. I had to go through that. So now I'm at 15, but she's doing the almost encouraging thing, but just so hard over the razz. I'm like, I ain't telling y'all nothing from now on. That's hell no. You found that out, and this is how you. I just want to run for the room now. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the same way with girls growing up, and it was all. My wife always makes fun of me. I like made my way through the church youth group, like every girl in the church youth group I dated, but I never had a girlfriend really outside of the church.
Right.
Because they're the sluttiest. I'm just going to say that right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Did not have that experience. I am the exception that proves the rule. I was not. Oh yeah, I had a bad attitude. I was a bit of a bully because I came from a bully. I got bullied when I was little, hard. Yeah. So when we moved, it was like, that's never happening again. So I became a little bit of a bully, but I wasn't that preacher's kid that was like the worst.
Dude, why did we? So I got bullied too. Why do bigger kids get bullied? Is that just because like they want to pick on the biggest dude, like a prison thing? Like, I'm gonna pick on the biggest guy first and like take him down. And
yeah, I think it's just generational memory, and we are aliens, and this is the prison planet. Because if you really think about how humans are just a disease that has to be quarantined, we're the prison galaxy, and generational memory is like, yeah, prison rules. You take down the big guy. Dude, it's just an insecurity, I guess, that it's always maybe not the smallest person in the group, but it's always somebody trying to control that dynamic.
I don't know about you, but I could not get away with bullying though. Here's the thing. Like, I remember I think it was 9th grade, one of the big things that the bullies were doing at the time was they were like running through the hall and just checking you into the lockers, like just, checking someone in the lockers. So, they did it to me. So I thought I would do it. I was like, oh, I'll start doing this and I'll be cool.
Yeah, you're not.
So
cool.
I did it one time, and I checked this kid and end up checking him straight into the like hottest girl in the whole school. And apparently her boyfriend was like a college freshman. So he like showed up to the school in his car, and he was like, everyone said, he's going to kill you. He's going to kill you. And I was like, it was this whole thing where my parents had to come in the next day to the principal's office. And they're like, we're kind of afraid for our son's life. And they brought the girl in, and she's like, he doesn't even know anything about what happened. And like, everyone's lying to you. So I was safe.
But you learned your lesson.
Dude, I just couldn't get away with it no matter what. And
because it's not in you.
It's not, because I felt bad anyways. Anytime I tried to like bully someone or do the same thing someone else did to me, I'm like, this is really crappy. Why would I do this to anyone? But man, I hated school. I don't know about you, but I hated.
Well, I was homeschooled, so I hated public school. Like I was taught to hate public school, and I never went. I was more of a cult leader than a bully.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, if you stepped out of line, it made you feel bad about yourself and got you back in line. But ultimately, it's also lots of fun times. I was just the leader of the I mean, everybody loosely call it. I was like, oh, such like your own little gang. Like, no, these are a bunch of farmers' kids who are driving trucks on the farm at age 13. There's no gang at all. It's just we play this game that we made up called Wall Ball, or we play Street Fighter 2. That's
Oh
it.
yeah.
You know. But I just knew it anyway. Inside, back to Hail Mary because we digress, which is what we do. What, by the way, what coffee are you drinking? Because that is a highball glass meant for scotch.
Yeah, but I don't really like scotch. I like bourbon, and when I drink it, I just drink it out of anything that's available. I don't have to have a special glass because I'm not bougie.
Gotcha. So you're doing the whole principle. If you just blow on it, people think it's coffee. Gotcha.
Sure. Well, no, this is so my new machine does this thing where you can brew coffee over ice, and I've discovered that it is the best setting, even for just like regular coffee. Like it has great crema, great taste. And the coffee I'm drinking is Gucci Mane, which is from Coffee Black. It's like their award-winning coffee. I wanted to try it.
That was way too close to Gucci Mane.
I think it is Gucci Mane. Sorry. I think it is Gucci Mane. I don't know. I don't.
Gucci Mane is a rapper, I thought.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I don't. But I wanted to try it because I went there and had their Arachino, which is like an iced coffee, and they aerate it with like a what do you call that thing where it foams it up? It's really good. And I was like, "What beans are you using?" And they told me those, so I bought a bag. But dude, the bag was $27.
That's pricey.
And I was like, "I'm gonna try it one time," because I almost said no thanks. And I'm like, "No, I'll just do it. I'll just do it, and it better be better than what what I'm buying now, which is like."
Sure.
$17 to $18 a bag, maybe a little bit less when it's on sale at Whole Foods. And it has lived up to the hype and lived up to what you can get there. But the best setting is that over ice setting. So what I'll do is I'll brew 2 3-ounce over ice, and you can drink that like hot, or I'll put it in one of these and add just a little bit of milk and ice, and it is awesome. It is awesome. I love it.
And what's this new machine you speak of?
We talked about it on the last time we recorded.
Did we? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. It's been a minute
over it for a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of myself. I'm babying the crap out of this thing. Like I've got alerts set on my phone for every week. You take out the brew group, rinse it out. Just last week I did the brew group cleaning, and then I have these fake coffee beans that you put in the grinder that clean the grinder.
Okay.
So I'm like babying the crap out of it because I read online like if you do that you can really get like 10 good years out of this machine, and I'm like, cool. And we all drink coffee except for Calvin, so
that's what's wrong with Calvin. That's where all that attitude goes from. I think
I can't wait to see him drink coffee. Like I should give him just a shot of espresso before he streams, because I don't know if you ever watched his streams on Twitch, but he's wild, dude. He is so wild, but he's more introverted just normally.
Oh no, I've met him. I met him in real life. I think I got 3 words out of him the entire Red Gone weekend.
Yeah.
Even when I made him and Jackson poop their pants. So
were you in when they did the podcast though with the movie guy?
No, I had to be somewhere else, but I heard it went really well.
Yeah,
they're showmen. I get it. They are showmen.
He just opens up then. It's crazy.
Yeah, I did love the video you released that was like, just do it more energy. More. I'm like, but he's not wrong. You can see the difference, and even you mocking him with energy is better.
Well, because I would love. See, that's the thing. I love posting those videos because at the time, in the moment, I'm not really like pissed, but I'm kind of like annoyed.
Sure.
And I'm like, because they know what I'm talking about, and then they just decide to lash on and just like dig in. And I'm like, afterwards, I watch it and I'm like, good. But I've shown them before. I'll bring them in. I can't use this because that answer was amazing. But it is, at this point, it is kind of a performance sometimes. I mean, there's times where we record those on the couch, and just for 30 minutes, we're just sweating and laughing so profusely that it's great. But there's some times where it's better if you say the answer a certain way, and then it's funnier.
Yeah.
Just energy. But I don't want to be fake though. I hate fake stuff. And I think that's what they are pushing up against. They're like, but that'll be fake, Dad. And it's like, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. So it's a balance.
There's a little bit of acting in everything we do, and you
like
just turn the volume up a little bit on your personality. That's all.
Well, what I think of is the Costco guys. I don't know if you've ever seen those guys, but I think of them when I think of ultimate cringe and ultimate fake. And you're like, ugh, like nothing about that was real. Hey, we're going to Costco. Like no one talks like that. Like what the hell? So, anyways, I don't want to be like that, but also I want to be a little bit like that.
Y'all just that'd have been interesting to talk about on the relatively terrible podcast where we talked about reality TV. And because Rachel made the point that most reality TV most daily lives are boring, even for the rich. So yeah, absolutely. Even on Love on the Spectrum, which is one of my favorites, I texted you immediately. And
you know who follows us now? Dylan.
Nice.
And his mom and the girl he was dating, Melissa. They all three followed us.
Oh, that's very cool. That is as we do on this, we do coffee and tangents. We were at the Georgia Renfest last year, and I lost his name, but arguably the main character of the US. He lives in Georgia. Tanner, not Tanner. No, that's Connor. Connor. You said Connor. Sorry.
Yeah, Connor.
Yeah, Connor and his girlfriend. They were at the Renfest, and my oldest son and his girlfriend, like we were all there, but we'd split off a little bit. They got to see him and talk to him and interact with him a little bit off camera. I mean, when they're shooting on camera, they just kind of clear the space a little bit, of course, just to get some shots. But they're really cool, really fun. He's the one that him and his mom drink with open coffee mugs. And I'm like, you are killing me, Smalls. I cannot watch your TikToks anymore right now because put the cup down. You can't drink with an open cup of coffee. What's wrong with you people? Anyway, so Australia, you'd asked if it was as good. I think it's better only because it was my first. Like we discovered Australia before they brought it to the US, and then we got excited that it was all at the time it was all on Netflix. I don't know about I imagine it still is, but I don't know. But
I might give it a shot. It's this newest season of the American one has been my favorite so far. And it's actually been rewatchable. Like some of the other ones, I don't know how to explain it to people. I mean, it's not. Some of it's tough. Some of it's tough to watch. Like it was real. Some of it's very funny because they're not trying to be funny, but they just say what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But then when like Dylan in the one when he got the call from the first girl and she said she didn't want to go out anymore, and you just.
Yes, you feel it.
I'm like, oh, dude, you just killed me. Like, literally ripped my heart out. That's the other thing I've said. If I was rich, man, I would buy Dylan and his mom a new house right now, and she would quit working forever because she's working 12 hours a day to live in a matchbox in LA. And I was like, that broke my heart too. I was just like, man, that's just trying stuff like that makes me really just want to be like ultra super rich and just like pass the money out. Cause I would go to them first and buy them a new house. But he's my favorite. I think Logan is my second favorite from the new season. Logan's so great. That dude is.
You're really good with names. It takes me forever to get a name down.
We've watched it almost twice now. So, so I'm like,
I got you.
Interesting. Like I love the way he talks.
Whatever, and it happens every season on every series of Love on the Spectrum. That they're being interviewed like, do you want to date? Do you want? And just so plainly, they talk about feeling alone and lonely, and it just breaks your heart. And the highs are, oh my God, it's working, and the lows are, it's not. Except for the best example I have, they all do it to a certain point, but the best example I have was one where I think it was on the Australian one. It may have been the first season of the US one, I don't remember. But this guy loved dinosaurs and being outside. Mm-hmm. And the girl who was also being followed did not like either one of those. I forget what she liked, but they come together for their first date and they do the, hey, how are you? Hey, this, hey, that. And then, sorry, somebody's trying to come. I don't know who that is. But he asked, like, well, do you love, I love being outside. I love dinosaurs. Do you love dinosaurs? She's, no, not really. I don't really like them. I like Spider-Man and something, blah, 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 whatever else. Do you like that? He goes, no. And they're like, okay, thank you. And then this kind of shook hands and they parted ways. Like, that's the moment. Like, I as a human being want to be more like that, where it was just okay. They weren't. Neither one of them felt rejected. They went, hey, you don't like what I like. I'm looking for somebody who likes what I like, and it so good.
Yes,
but I do even hate. We're talking about that fakeness. I could tell every once in a while, especially in Connor's house, there's always that shot in the kitchen where the mom's posed to the left, Connor's always to the right, and then maybe a brother's in there. Now they're having real conversations, but I'm like, just let them sit somewhere, man. I could tell you frame that shot because you do it every single episode.
Yeah,
we get a Connor kitchen shot.
Yes, I agree. And the one thing I've noticed is the people without autism will always give away that it's something that's happened that they're reframing and setting up again.
Yeah.
People without autism, like just the normal, quote unquote, normal adults, you can tell they're just acting. And it's kind of rough sometimes, especially Connor's mom, because he's found a lot of fame from this, and so has she. So you can kind of tell it's going to her head a little bit.
Gotcha. Let me yes. I mean, somebody's got to have some energy around here.
At least you admit it.
Let me. I gotta make this call real quick.
Hope you use protection.
Shh. I don't have a joke for that. I'll be right. Yeah. It's so I told you I got a 6-month consulting gig, and I was supposed to be able to manage some time and be in and out and just be available for certain things. So last week I was in office all week to live there and get a feel for everything they're doing. And this week I was there Monday and Tuesday. I was like, okay, I got everything set up. I wanted to do this recording today because we put it off for too much. I was like, you know what? This is in my contract. I'm supposed to be able to flow. So everything else in the mornings is gone until about 11 o'clock. It starts getting a little messy or whatever, 11:30 some days. And of course, this morning somebody called out, was shut a truck down, which means that they're scrambling to fix things and somebody didn't read their schedule. So yeah, it really was like, hey, we're like, so yeah, everybody's gonna be late today. It's fine. All right. So we were talking about levels. Yeah, you're talking about how autism people frame, non-autistic people reframe it. And it's fun. It has, if you watch, well, of course you've watched all the seasons, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I just haven't watched. I've only watched US. I haven't watched anything else yet.
First and second seasons seem to be more documentary style, more slice of life. With the most influence I see on it is like there's sometimes they're at a dinner and things are getting worked out with the noise and stuff, and so hey, why don't you step away? And they have made a safe space for both of the people in the scene, and somebody you could tell there's people behind to take care of the people on the scene, because nothing about this is exploitative, right? They're really trying to help them be where they want, and they document it. And that's the most influence I've seen. It's like, hey, you hear them off screen, hey, why don't you step away? If you want, we've got a space for you over here. And whoever was stood up and went over there, and they're still like, if you want to talk to us, we're going to record it. If not, if you tell us, blah, blah, blah. Now it feels a little bit more like a TV show where it's still very real, but I feel like it went from like 99%, 90% real, because, I'm sure there's money and there's funding and some other stuff going on, to it's a little more produced. And I still love it though. It's still good, because no matter how you cut it, they're not fake. They're not being told, hey, go in there and start this fight with your mom and say these things to her, because it wouldn't work. I mean, none of them would get that.
It has developed over the years to kind of a different thing. And I was kind of wondering, even watching the first season, it's got to be hard to edit. I'm sure there's just so much footage, and I think they've kind of found their groove. And for me, it still doesn't feel super like a reality show. Because most of those I'll turn them off right away because it's just manufactured garbage the entire time and I just can't stand it. So that's why I like it so much.
Yeah. I do want to get this thought out because we've meandered as we should. Because I got some things to get to. Like I've indoctrinated somebody into the little brown pill club. So we'll get to that in a second.
Sounds like you're a drug dealer.
Right. Yeah. The first rule of Little Brown Pill Club is we talk about it to everybody. Hey kid, you want some coffee? First cup's free.
No, it's not. It's expensive.
Yeah, but that's how you get them hooked. That, and then they come to us for our brand of coffee once we make that. The Hail Mary. So Hail Mary project. I may or may not have allegedly had an edible before I went there. And I got so stressed out when he was outside the ship. I'm like, this scene is way too long. I mean, he's got to make it, right? Because I don't know if he's going to make it. Because this is that kind of story. He was supposed to die in space anyway. Can you stop having him hang out in space? It freaked me out, man.
I actually have a video I'm going to do about an edible. Because I've seen a bunch of people doing it on TikTok where they'll be like, it's supposed to be like a documentary style video. They're like, hey, look what I'm doing. Like, I'm about to go out to dinner. And they'll take like 4 or 5 edibles. And then all of a sudden they'll be like hanging upside down from a tree or something like that. And I'm like, no, I'm going to definitely do one where there's a new AI app. I don't know if you've seen it, where you can make your toys dance.
Not dance. I've seen faces come to life.
Yeah, well, you can. There's one called. It's called. What is it called? It's called Knock Knock. Nauk Knock Knock. And you can just dance and do stuff. So I figured that'll be what happens to me on my edible.
Okay, gotcha. That's what it's called. So but you're not that. I don't imagine you are that guy.
No, I don't.
You just like messing with people who are those guys.
Yeah, I don't know why you would need an edible. Maybe you can tell me.
Someday, some way. I mean, you thought you had to go to CVS. So there's a bigger gap in education. It'd be like teaching Calvin what it's like to be into girls to teach you about edibles versus me and coffee. I'm more like Jackson.
No, but I would not ever learn about edibles. I have no desire to have my mind altered in any way.
Let's flash back to back pain, Josh. You might say differently there. It probably wouldn't help. Honestly, there's nothing I think that will help with that kind of thing you went through.
No, well, but I did mention it. It was like I would totally, and I wasn't talking about edibles. I said I would totally smoke some weed right now, or give me some cocaine or something heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from a medical standpoint, when you're talking about that nerve pain and everything else, there's nerve blockers, but even then, it's until they figured it out, there was nothing to do for you.
All the nerve blockers like gabapentin and stuff, and it was because the nerve was attached to the bone. It wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's not a whole lot. So why? I felt like maybe in the book it plays differently. I did actually feel like that scene was overly dramatic.
Which one?
And the one where he's outside the ship and having to get this thing and it's falling down. He can reach down for it, but if he misses, he's lost in space and whatever. Yeah. And I was like, we already have enough drama with just the situation as is. Why are we doing what feels like a 5-minute won't he make it? Oh no, he made it. Oh no, here comes another asteroid moment. It wasn't bad. I was just like, please just get back to the regular stress. This is way too much stress for me right now.
Well, I mean, it was like that because they were in the atmosphere of the planet. So the atmosphere was pulling them down. They're trying to stay in orbit. And then the back of the ship started lighting on fire.
Yeah.
But then they started to be propelled. So it was, I mean, it was warranted. That was the scene where then when once he gets inside, it smashes him into the dash. That's one of my favorite parts where it smashed like boom. Because in the book, like I imagine that, like in my mind, I was like, they'll
Yeah.
never be able to get this right in a movie. Never. And they did it. I was like, oh, that is sick. That was so good.
Yeah.
It was probably just your editable like turning on you. It wasn't that bad.
Turning on me.
It wasn't that bad.
Uh,
But it was totally just that was the hard thing. A lot of the things were justified, but in the book, there was so much more explanation. And once it started to happen, you're like, oh man, this is bad because the book is hard sci-fi. There's so much actual science and things like that in there.
yeah.
And I'm not into that, but I was into that book for some reason. Like, I mean, he's doing equations and everything. Like, when he wakes up in the book, when he wakes up, he doesn't know why it's heavier for him to walk around. So he actually figures out the math of why.
Yeah.
And also that was the other thing one thing I didn't like is the first time he gets up and he climbs up and he goes through the hatch in the book, he can't go through the hatch until he remembers his name. Like the computer won't let him. So there's just a lot of things that were truncated in the movie, but for time. They said the original cut of the movie was actually close to 4 hours.
So okay. When they released that on Blu-ray and digital, whatever, I'm more of a digital person, but if I had to get on Blu-ray, I will to be able to see. I want to see the longer cut for sure.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I think I don't remember if it was you or Rachel or somebody said I would have loved to seen it as like a HBO series.
Yeah, like I also still hope they go back and make Ready Player One as a Netflix HBO series. Give it the treatment it deserved. Like I'm happy for the author of Ready Player One that he got Steven Spielberg to make his movie. That's great, but the book is so much far and above that the Ready Player One movie that it's just a different movie. It's decent, but the series would have been way better.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. Throwing money at a single series is tough nowadays for people because they always want to extend it out. I know they did with the Penguin on HBO, which didn't need a second series. It was decent. But nobody's deciding where they want to go. But I think as a whole, Project Hail Mary was done well, and I think it lends to. I know it's been making news lately that Steven Spielberg went to the filmmakers conference or whatever, I forget what it's called, and he was winning some kind of award, and he took some time to chastise Hollywood and perhaps people in the audience even of saying, make fresh new stories. Yes. We got to stop rehashing, and I think Project Hail Mary is very much a huge. Look at this. Look at what we can do with a fresh. What about on Netflix? There's one called The Three Body Problem.
I've heard of it. I've actually seen a couple of breakdowns of the what do you call it? The visual effects.
Yeah,
but I have no interest in watching it.
Really? Yeah. It is. It's very specific. So it is very hardcore. It is very hardcore sci-fi, but it's also non-American. I believe he's Chinese. I think he was a Chinese author who then directed himself and this and another. And so the thought process is, even though it's very much in English and Americanized and all this other stuff, the flow is different. And I don't know how much of that is just his mind and sci-fi, how much of it might be culturally based. But it was really cool to go, okay, I got to hold on for this ride. It's almost like this is just another roller coaster. I've been on oh no, this one jumps tracks and goes somewhere else. And I found it very interesting, but I could tell about halfway through, absolutely not for everybody. It is a little bit darker. It is a little bit more gritty, but similar to Hail Mary, it doesn't tell you the whole story. And that's what I think that's probably the biggest thing I loved about Project Hail Mary was you drop right in, you get a little bit of the lead up, a little bit of setup, just enough to go, okay, How you don't get how did we have technology to know that? They hand waved, hey, we had the technology to get you that far. Don't worry about it. And then you get in, there's questions like, I don't know about the book, but in the movie, I kind of instantly, because this is how sci-fi has built me. How did they die? That surely is some kind of drama that's going to come in later. Nope. The other two people died, and that was it. That was it. We just didn't talk about
it.
It's
in the book. It's in the book. Yeah. So,
but we didn't need it, right?
No.
It was just like a flow.
It was pretty cool, though. In the book, there was this technology that somebody in Japan had built. They had figured out that certain humans have a coma resistant gene. And they were building these machines that took care of people through things like cancer. Like if somebody had cancer, they would put them in a coma if they had the right gene, and then they wouldn't have to suffer through chemo. They could just be taken care of by these machines. So in the book, when they, basically these three, like everyone that could go on the ship had the coma resistant gene, but it still doesn't mean you're going to survive. So that's what happened. They just died in travel. So you really don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of a little cool, like, sidebar that they have in the book. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's other moments too where you just don't get the full explanation of something and this and that. And that's very much you take that and put it into a shaker and just add all a bunch of different spices, and that's what you get with Three Body Problem. It is there's just a little back and forth not time travel, but telling the story, and there's a dream aspect to it that's kind of like virtual reality. There's so many layers that it's I was surprised it hit as well as it did worldwide. But I very much enjoyed it. And again, it is based off a book that I have never read. I listen to some books sometimes, and that's about it.
Me too. I think I have to take back my last comment. It's not that I have no interest, but I watched that breakdown of the visual effects, and I asked Rachel, I'm like, have you ever heard of this? Because it's a book. She's like, you don't want to watch that. So I was like, oh, God. Because some of that writing from over there, like Japan especially, she said, is very out there, very crazy. And some of that
there was some crazy moments.
Yeah. Some of that I like because we need that. It's what Spielberg was talking about. We need these different stories. We need to take it farther and stuff like that. The one thing I saw that really interested me was where there's this, like, spoiler alert, I guess, this thing that's kind of going through the world, like this line, and it's like cutting people. Is that's in that book, or that
there is, not without spoilers.
Yeah.
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. There is something that does something that is with cutting and lasers, but it's not. You just gotta watch it. Honestly, I think you should at least go in going
coming, right? The people that
correct.
It's happening to, they don't see it.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it there. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who's thinking about watching it.
I think you should watch it.
I'll give it a shot.
I think because if you walk out, it's a one and done deal. I mean, I'd hope they would. I'd hope he'd write another follow. Because I don't know how the book did. I don't know where they left it, but where they left it in this, call it a mini series, if you will. Yeah. That I want to know the next steps. I want to see where this plays, type of deal.
Have you watched any of the new Daredevil stuff? Are you into that?
I am into it. We haven't started the newest season yet. Just because we keep forgetting, we keep finding some other things, and I try. It's so hard because my wife and I both have ADD, especially when it comes to entertainment. And she's very bad, so bad. So okay, there's online tests you can take, right? And I found one years ago. I'm like, oh look, it says like I'm on 13 on the scale. So everything I've been told in my life about having ADHD, it's true. And I've just my wife's like, oh, I'll take that test. She got like a 48. She's like, ooh, I scored higher. I'm like, it is not winning to score higher on the ADD test, lady. But she can pattern recognition. She hates most movies and TV because she can predict what's coming next or how it's going to play out, or so on and so forth. So it's hard to finish a show before you start another one. But I try to do that because we'll forget, even though I have an app that says, hey, here's what you were watching and here's the episode you were on.
Yeah.
We forget to go back and go, oh, yeah, we did like that. So we're trying to hold off on starting the newest season of Daredevil, but I do enjoy it. We binge watched again all of the Daredevil stuff for the last season that dropped. And you get there like, oh, yeah, it was a little better when it was drug out. When you binge it, it gets really weak in the middle every season that they hit, and a little cheesy on some points, but it is entertaining enough that we do enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
We
you
just watched the first one together. I had watched it, and now we just watched it all together. And I've been watching the second season, and that's why I got them to watch the first season, because I'm like, you've got to watch the second season. So let's, you might not like the first season, but let's suffer through it, because this second season.
And you're talking about where they start making it again after Disney got a hold of it.
Yes. Because you know what? I liked the Netflix one. Okay. But it was
Disney forced that. So Netflix, I was doing podcasting back then about geek stuff, and Netflix wanted to do like a 7 or 8 episode run. And Disney said you have to do whatever the number was, 13, 14. Okay. And so it suffered from that middle-itis of, we have to kind of do this little side story and this and that. And yeah, the Netflix one feels like Saturday morning cartoons compared to what Marvel was doing at the time and is doing now.
Yeah.
It was just contractual powers that be.
Yeah, it was okay. I really love Charlie Cox. I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't stop and talk to Vincent D'Onofrio at Dragon Con. Jackson did. He went and talked to him for a little bit, but the second season, you guys, if you liked the first season at all, you'll love the second season. I say it's a lot better so far.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch it because I do skim through these even if I don't like it to make sure it's not going to tie into something bigger, because I like to be that one. Oh, I know that because it references this and connects together. But I do like those. Echo, I didn't think they did great with, and I was in that. So were my kids. We were all in that series, and we did not.
I stopped watching.
They it's a throwaway. It's a throwaway, except to introduce her later, and hopefully they'll do better. There's a great scene with mock Daredevil, because I seriously doubt that was Charlie Cox doing that one of the early scenes in Echo. But I felt like it was, hey, we want to do this cool thing where we connect, D'Onofrio's character. I just lost it for a second. I don't remember why.
Okay.
King, thank you. That's so easy. We connect him to these other things, and we want to bring in this great Native American character, and she really, her skill, I don't know that much about it, but I did a little research before I saw the show. It's either skill or power, but she can learn other people's moves. That's why she's called Echo, not because she is blind or is deaf and all that. It was weird how they turned the show a little bit, but it was okay. But that was it. It's just like Hawkeye. It was just okay. But we set up some other things for later.
Yeah.
And those historical remembrances, I guess we'll say, instead of flashbacks. And like, if you even got that far, there was moments where you see some of the ancient Aztec stuff, and you see, or whatever. I apologize if I'm saying that it's not Aztec. Whatever her tribe was, whatever people were, it was, and it felt like they went, oh, we'll just slap this ethnicity stuff on here. It's like, from what I understand in the comics, she's actually way better than that, the way they tell the story and everything else. Yeah. So it was weak.
That's the thing. I would love to see some of those stories. I'm never a person who's like, I don't want to see this, I don't want to see that. What I'm sick of is these agenda-driven things where they don't even give it the time that's needed to actually represent it well. They're like, well, we checked the box and that was it. And that sucks. That sucks for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And that show, I think I got 2 or 3 episodes in maybe, and I was like, I don't get it. Now, let me ask you this. Have you seen all the What If series, like the cartoon?
Yep. Yeah.
So is that some of the Native American stuff there? Is that what she's connected to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was done better there.
Yeah.
To a point. So. Also didn't like where they went from being this great What If series to make it Captain Carter three series run, season run. And it's like, well, that's what made the first season great was, they tied together, but it was this mismatch of things. And then you made it work. Yeah. It was okay. We thought the internet, we thought that because they brought I'm losing all of my stupid names. Hawkeye's partner, Black Widow, because they brought Black Widow back from a universe there. They'll do that in the movies. Guess what? Disney doesn't like when you talk bad about them and you sue them because you're right. And so they have pretty much, in my opinion, cut her out probably forever.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. You're not going to win that battle with Disney. I mean, the only one who has is that woman from The Mandalorian.
Gina Kershaw.
Yeah, she's won her battle, and they're supposed to like give her a part again in it. But I'm like, wouldn't that be like just awkward as hell to come back and be like, "Hey, I'm back, guys."
Yeah, I mean, well, it just depends on what you want to. It has you, and that was a different stance. Like they're not going to back off the fact that the actress. My brain is gone this morning, dude. I usually great with names in this
what
kind of stuff.
Coffee you got in that cup today?
You look, if you blow on it, they think it's coffee. That's all I'm telling you. Day drinking is for the winners.
So it's not coffee. So that's why your brain's gone.
It is coffee, and it's still gone.
It's Keurig, isn't it?
No. Okay. No. I did my kettle and my French press this morning.
He sounds guilty.
We're gonna get into that in a second. But she sued the actress played Black Widow sued them because they released her movie straight to streaming because of COVID, and they had no streaming rights. Like they didn't get royalties on that. They had theater money and they had DVD, Blu-ray sales money, and
which
she
movie?
said,
was it Black Widow?
Yeah, it's Black Widow.
That we saw that in theaters though.
That was right at the beginning of COVID. They did most of their. They did, if it wasn't theaters, it was right at the beginning because they did. I watched it on Disney Plus. I paid the $30 and got the early access on Disney Plus.
Oh, that's okay. It was an early access thing. It wasn't just like it's put on streaming and
everybody was said the Trolls World Tour, I think had been the first was said, hey, you pay extra money, you just watch it right at home instead of going to the theater because COVID was really crunching down on everybody. I don't think it was full lockdown yet, but it was getting there, and they blew it out. Universal blew it out with the money, and everyone went, huh. And so they announced Mulan was going straight to streaming, the live action one, nobody cared. Black Widow, and then and she sued over not getting the money that she would have gotten in the theater off of the streaming. And I think she ultimately won some of that, but that was it. I mean, they essentially, in no uncertain terms, cut ties with her. And I'm like, that's just not cool, man.
No.
So, all right, more coffee. I invited you along. You were too rich and powerful and doing crazy commercials and stuff to come. But a couple weeks ago, I went down to Biloxi for my son's 21st birthday, and we made sure to take him to New Orleans. And I went to the Cafe Du Monde, which has been there since the late 1800s, I think. I took a picture of the sign. I don't remember the exact date. And I've been there a few times, and they're just world-renowned coffee house there in the French Quarter. And it's a French, what do they call it? They don't call it a coffee house. It's something else, but they do beignets and coffee, and that's it. And you can either order the beignets or not, and you can get they've expanded a little bit. So you get their coffee a lot, which is, I'm sure I'm not pronouncing right, but which is hot milk, not steamed milk apparently, but hot milk and their coffee. You can get it black. You can get it iced, and that's about it. That's so you can get and you can get the coffee a lot iced. You can get it black iced or with milk iced. And I bought a canister to bring back, and it's chicory. So chicory is a tree root that they started. That's native to Louisiana and the swamps and all that. That during World War I believe it is, they started adding this chicory root into the bean grind to make the coffee last longer. And it just stuck with it. And it's got this really rich coffee taste. So that is what I'm drinking this morning.
Oh,
is straight out of it is in a can, but straight out of a can into the French press and the water and stuff, and it's really good. I did this yesterday. So 2 days ago, I was in the office, and the other guy that shares the office, I saw him with a big coffee pot. I was like, "Oh, you gonna make coffee?" He's like, "Yeah, I was gonna ask you like coffee." He was like, "I do a show called The Little Brown Pill because coffee's Viagra for your soul, man." Yeah, I love coffee. I said, "But you're gonna make like Maxwell House or Folgers or something, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Do you like coffee? Because it doesn't sound like it, sir."
And then he got a restraining order.
Yeah. And I said, "Hey, I will make you some high-end coffee." And French press, like my buddy Josh, is why we do a show together. He got me into all this, expanding the horizons. And I took him a little travel mug of the Cafe Du Monde. And he takes it with cream and sugar, so I made it black because I'm not tainting it with cream and sugar. You can do that. And he loved it. I was like, "Oh, well, there's going to be a rabbit hole to go down." So the second rule of the Little Brown Pill Club is, if it's your first night, you've got to brew coffee, you got to drink, and you got to bring a friend, because I was like, "You don't even understand," because he's blown away by me talking about the French press and this and that. And he's, "Oh, you got a whole set?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a little espresso machine. I've got a little grinder. I've got pour over this and the other, all this other stuff." But that's nothing. Josh has got this big espresso machine, and he knows all. He says crema. Who says crema? He says it.
That's what it is.
I know it's what it is. And let's explain to everybody, what is crema?
I mean, crema is basically it. I think it's I don't know what language it is, but I think it just means cream. When you make espresso, and it's good espresso, if you have I have these little clear espresso glasses, and you can watch the the white foamy. It's almost like
it's a very light tan. Yeah.
And if you don't have that, it's usually not very good. What's sad to me is that there's still people out there this day and age buying and keeping Maxwell House and Folgers in business. Like, there's no excuse anymore. Even if you want to go to the store and still waste your money, but buy Starbucks coffee, you're still going to get at least a little bit better. I would say a lot better than Maxwell House and stuff like that. I can't believe those things still exist. I wonder if it's just maybe people just aren't educated yet on coffee, or maybe coffee isn't as widely respected as I kind of think it is. Just kind of some of the circles I run in, or the shops I go to, it's like, man, I feel like a lot of people know about this stuff. And even you, before we've got into this, you weren't into Maxwell House or Folgers.
No, I was drinking Starbucks.
Yeah. So that's not the worst thing in the world, but Maxwell House and Folgers is the worst thing in the world. Who knows what they're putting into their body at this point?
Honestly,
that stuff is left over from wars and stuff, in a big old warehouse.
It doesn't even have an expiration or best buy date. It's just there. Yeah,
there's no nutritional facts, which you pointed out to me. If there's no nutritional facts, the FDA hasn't touched it.
Yeah,
that's not good.
I will say it's coffee culture is a lot like church. Most churches, all they're doing is preaching the same thing over and over. Hell and brimstone and get saved. Hell and brimstone get saved. Businesses will keep Folgers and Maxwell House in business because they want the cheapest solution to make their people happy. And if they're providing coffee for the office, it's always the cheapest solution. Because there's worse than Maxwell House and Folgers. There is, I can't remember the name of the company, but it's that hotel crap that comes in bags that they'll try to sell to businesses all the time, and that's the worst.
Institutional coffee.
Yes, it is the worst. And so they're like, well, it's not that, so they can go to Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club and buy the big huge cans of it, and for nothing. And it'll last a month or 2 months or whatever. The second I ever take over, I'm not going to do it in this one. I'm just consulting here. When I took over the office for the other ambulance company I ran, first thing I did was, I brought in a Keurig, and then I started buying higher end coffee. And I always have my filter, and I'd always, come out of the bag into the filter. But now I'm like, should I get a travel kettle and bring it to the office and leave it there? Because it's better, but most people don't understand. After you get saved, you're supposed to move on. It's like freshman year, you're taking 101 classes. Sophomore year, you need to be doing something more. They just never move out of that.
Sanctification is a lifelong process. Coffee should be a lifelong process as well. Learning, getting better, trying new things. I don't know.
I thought you were talking about the instant brand Senka. It's like, I'm not drinking Senka. Senkification is not a thing in my world, brother.
Dude, it's like in Cobra Kai. What's his name? Kreese, John Kreese.
Yeah, met him.
He asks at the restaurant. He's like, "Can I get a Senka?"
And like, that's from the 70s. Yeah, man, 80s. That fits his character, though. That fits his character.
Yeah, like he's stuck in the past. He's like literally stuck, in the war kind of a thing in his mind. So
I got to moderate a panel with him and some of the Cobra Kai kids at a conference last year. And afterwards, he and I talked for a few minutes about cigars because he was big into cigars. No, he didn't. Cool.
Okay.
I can't, I was like, nope, 6 feet, man. 6 feet. COVID rules. Get over there. You don't bite me. Yeah. There's a reason he plays John Kreese. He's got that Kreese vibe to him. He's way nicer than Kreese. Like in real life, I would stay a million miles away from Kreese because he just, he's not a good human being.
Exactly.
The actor is better than that.
Okay. Good.
But I don't know that we would. It wouldn't be somebody like, hey, we're going to be besties, type of deal.
Yeah, you'd probably always in the back of your mind have that be like, hey, he does play Kreese,
and other characters that are basically Kreese.
Yeah, this could go downhill quick if he needs to. Like,
does he remember his
evil as he needs to be?
Yeah, like cool stuff. What do you got going on? Looking forward to in your life and career right now.
Things have been going really well as far as uploads of fun and just building that this coming weekend, which by the time people hear this, it's not a promo, but we're going to Tupelo Con in Tupelo, Mississippi. That's going to be really fun. And then right now we're working on getting our skit game back up. And the way I'm going to do that is by like what I do is like we'll write them, I'll post them, and when they crash and burn, I'm like, ugh. So we took kind of like 3 months off and posted a new one yesterday. Just gonna let it run.
Is that the Woody?
Yeah, I haven't looked.
That was so cheesy. Dude,
that was good.
When I lost mine,
it was like it went from Toy Story joke, to no, I have a wood E in my hand, to back to no. Calvin's talking about a boner. So it's like, what the hell? But like, just having fun with that. I got a character we're going to try. I really want to develop a character that gets popular. That's my next goal. Relatively Terrible has been really cool. We finally have a format now that we've been using for the last couple episodes.
Yeah, you're starting to find your flow a little bit.
Yeah, it's been really good. And like, the workflow there is the thing I'm the most proud of, because it's like we've got this workflow. I remember back when I was talking to you about starting a podcast, and I was like, dude, I don't know, man. Like, because I know all the stuff, but then I know how much work it's going to be. So I'm like, and then you don't know how much time that it's going to take. And I'm like, but it's really a nice, smooth workflow. It's been going really good. And actually on YouTube, we're close to monetizing already as far as long form videos. So the long form videos have been getting, not a ton of views, but people are watching for like 15 to 20 minutes. And I'm like, Rachel's like, well, they're somewhere an hour long. That's not good. I'm like, you don't understand. 15 to 20 minutes. That's an eternity anymore. Like that's, hey, so it's just going really good.
And that should, over time, transition into them watching most of it, because you'll get your audience who, like, I listen on the podcast, so it's in my car from some odd reason. It almost pops up on Friday nights, even though it drops on Monday. It's just in my rotation. But that's, people treat YouTube the same way.
Yeah,
they will start putting on.
That's an average. So there's probably some people in there watching a lot longer. And I'm happy about that, because like I'm letting this build like a slow burn, though. I'm not gonna I really, once we get monetized, that's when I'll probably add more cameras and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like rather than like trying to make it grow with the quality, I think the quality is good enough right now to let it just kind of be a slow burn.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
What about you? What's going on with you? Well,
Well,
tell me more about the consulting gig. Is there
okay.
things you can tell
Yeah.
me about it?
Yeah, I will. I love though for only he knows this, but of course I listen. It tends to be with anything record like a long form podcast. It's usually time delayed because you recorded it presumably the last week. You release it on Monday, and then we get to it when we get to it. And it's almost sometimes it's 2 weeks behind or whatever, depending on what's going on in my life. But it's at least a few days behind. I love just picking something out of because I feel like almost a part of the conversation, which is always what you want with a podcast. Yeah. And so I will just start randomly texting him things from his show and responding to it. He's like, "What? Yeah, I need context." Like, nah, dog, you gotta figure it out. That's my game. I want you to read my mind.
Also, like a lot of times you're talking to text or something.
Oh yeah, and it mistranslates some of it.
And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like trying to figure out this new language.
Yeah. So and I do that to some other people too, and especially when I know I'm listening. There's like 3 months after, I'll just text them random things like, "Oh, when you said blah blah blah, I thought of this." It's like, what are you talking about? So yeah, I know. And anyway, so the consulting I have done, and this is 26. So next year will be 30 years in EMS. I started when I was 18. Had just come home from my first year of college, didn't care for university all that much. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, and got into being an EMT. And so I always pay attention to things. I always think I can do things better than everybody else. And I'm a natural born producer. So you pay attention, you start moving things around. Uh, about 20 something, 22, 23 years in, I ended up running an ambulance company and built that from 2 trucks to 52 trucks across the whole state of Georgia. And we went from like 2 bases to 9. And yeah, just all the things I thought I could, I was like, hey, these things, if you pay attention, you start going, well, that doesn't work, but we keep trying the same thing over and over again. Let me just try the opposite of that. As if you can't tell in the show, I'm a communicator. EMS, emergency medical services, typically you're like, we don't talk about anything. We don't talk about the money. We don't talk about why we made the decisions. We just ask you go and do. And then you, as a technician, you don't talk about your frustration of this doesn't make sense and it would be better this way. And you don't talk about the stress you go through and all that other stuff. And so I just did the opposite. I just talked about everything in the interview. Like if I'm interviewing you, I will tell you exactly how I'm running this business, exactly what I expect out of you, exactly what you can expect out of me, and that I don't know everything, and that we're figuring it out together. And I encourage that, and it worked. And so I learned a lot of formats and procedures and different things. So when that job ended, ultimately, and that was last year, somebody had been mentoring. I started working with them some, and they're part of my charity and everything else too, which is now kind of not defunct. It's on the back burner. I've got a little bit before I have to renew it, but it's like I don't know what to do with that right now. Side stuff. Ultimately, between digital media, public speaking, and EMS, I do tutoring and consulting. In this case, I had been picking up some long distance trips to help fill in the gap because I said, look, you're not responsible for my income, but if you can help, that'll keep me floating so I can consult with you. Because she wanted me to help with some contracts and this and that and other. And, we did some consulting there. So then as we started, she goes, hey, would you help me build an advanced life care truck, life support truck, ALS truck that will let us do vents and cardiac stuff and this and that and there. Others like, sure, absolutely. Cause I've already done that before. I was a paramedic for many years. I let it lapse and now I'm an advanced if anybody cares for education and to be on the truck parts. But I don't want to do the medic stuff because that's a whole different ball game. And we can talk about that one at a different time. But I have the experience. I've also built those trucks. So she goes, hey, I'll pay you this much. And I said, cool, we'll do a 3-4 month run. And that time was coming up and we did it. The truck's running. It's great. And I was like, all right, now it's time for me to transition off because I don't want to feel like an employee. I don't want to be dependent on to run this truck, but I physically got on the truck with the medic and we ran it twice a week for months until it got solid. And they were having, issues in their dispatch room and communications and trying to grow that and identify the right people. So that's this consultation. They transitioned me up and they said, hey, well, and it's a whole different contract, a whole different agreement, but it's 6 months to get through. And so basically figuring out where their gaps are in communication and how to streamline it, writing the protocols, doing the training, hiring the people, all that stuff. And all of it's built in. Like I have a base rate for what we're going to get for basically running it. Okay. And that flow, that's part of what today is that flow of I'm supposed to be able to work out of office. I'm supposed to be available for some things, but I'm only expected to work like 15 hours a week, like actively there. I'm doing more than that because that's just my style. It's like, I'm good. I need a little bit of flow, this and that and other. So yeah, it's gonna, when I'm done with it, it'll also be a formula that I can then bring to other companies and say, hey, you want to set up a dispatch? Here's X, Y. And because I really enjoy it and I really like working with her, and we've always figured stuff out together, I like being there all the time. If it was a company that was strange to me and I felt the vibes of the strict structure, it's going to be more of a, here's how you do it. Here's, let me see your processes. Here's my feedback to you. And, you know, I'll come and check on the office every once in a while type of deal. But it's really cool. And it's giving me some stability of income and schedule to where Ted, we were going to record tonight. And then I forgot because we plan things differently. So we're doing something off birthday for my daughter special, but today is her actual 13th birthday. And so we're doing a dinner. I'm like, yeah, let me just switch home and do that. I'm excited. I sent you the video that I finally got a good video of the Fandom Face-Off game that I do at conferences. So where you can get a real feel for it. I still want something better, you know, like you're talking about with the multi-cameras and the videographer that gets reaction shots and this and that. Then I want to make a sizzle reel out of it. But I really enjoyed being there this weekend and performing again and doing the things and just being real. So I've been going, I may have mentioned it here, I've been going through actual therapy for a bit, and my therapist says I'm burned out, you know, and I'm sure it was evident to a lot of people, and I just kept going, kept doing things. So I was on a panel this weekend. This was, and I'm still excited about this, is when you own your life and you understand where you are, you get that clarity of where you can go. For the longest time, I've said, I had a vision when I was like 12, a dream, whatever, just an idea of I could just see myself on stage in front of, you know, like a Coliseum, just thousands of people doing my thing. And I did not know how to translate that in that world of, you know, 12 to 22, 23, because the only way to achieve that kind of thing was not even comedians at the time. So I was on this panel and the question came up about, it was a panel about diversifying your income as an author. And I was on the panel because not that I've written a book, but authorship is not my thing. I mean, I'll probably write another book later, but we're talking to people who are trying to make their living writing books, novels, those kind of things. But I was there because I've done digital media for 20 plus years, almost 23 now. And so I had some input on that. And each one talking about their day job and managing, and they loved their day jobs. And I'm like, well, that's, for me, that was the first thing. I never take a job I'd love because I have, and it's distracted me from where I wanted to go. I'm not getting to that stage. I'm not getting there because, as I was saying before I broke, there was all I could see was music, and I'm okay at music, and you know, I think you and I could probably jam and have fun with it, but it's not like we build a band and become Metallica. We don't have that innate thing that says you're going to really go and do this thing this way the rest of your life. Podcasting came along, and that was that hit. But I've been inconsistent with my focus, other than at some point I'm gonna be on stage performing in front of thousands of people, and this is the way I go. And you can look back over 20 years and see it's just grown and grown and grown and gotten to bigger, better points like that. But on that panel, what got me excited most was the reality that hit me was I could finally say, first time in my life, like, I did not get to where I am with boundaries and saying no. But that did burn me out to where I had no more energy. It was easy to get distracted and do other stuff. It's kept me inconsistent. But I can own that I will never feel successful. No matter what I've done, I will not feel successful until I'm on that stage performing. And that's not healthy for most people. I'm not telling you to take that path, but if that is you, then you got to own that. And I did that for the first time in my life. Really, it was like, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I run a great show at Dragon Con. It's very successful. I can hang up my hat and go, I did something to change the world. I've been nominated a bunch of times for awards. That's whatever, Josh. I think you probably already know awards are BS. I don't understand why we even care that somebody's being nominated. Either I like the actor or actress or I don't, you know. But I've been nominated like 11 or 12 times, either as a producer or as a host. Never won because in the podcast world, it's a popularity contest. I have not gotten my Lifetime Achievement or Hall of Fame award, even though I've been there since the beginning and people like to ignore me. I don't know why. Other than that, but none of it matters. None of it matters. It's all about where I'm going to land. Let me grab this one again and then we'll wrap up. All right. So that's part of the consulting right there is right now I'm taking the job. And that's what I want to leave with everybody is same with diving in the coffee, same with doing podcasts, being creative, or just running your real life. You got to find balance and you got to find ways to do things right. And I will tell you, Josh, I think you'd be 50-50 on these answers, A or B. A would be, nah, I'm not used to working like that. It's not for me. Or B is like, holy crap, because I've worked for myself so much, I'm outrunning everybody. But going from a schedule you manage and that is scary. Like I call it surfing the chaos. Like I did not know where my money is coming from week to week, but it showed up. But when you run like what you're doing, where you're getting up and you're editing and you're producing and this, but you can leave gaps like, hey, we're going to go this trip today, or we're going to blah, blah, blah. Going back to an office setting, working 5 days a week, it for me, it's been like, this has been rough. It's like, I like my schedule I had before better, but it's part of the learning process. It's part of balancing because I was not saving enough for myself or my family, and I was just drained. No matter what, surfing the chaos or working, I was just drained. So finding that balance and those boundaries to say no, it's possible. It is possible. I'd be the most famous podcast in the world by now. Probably not, but it's possible had I had boundaries, said no, and kept my focus on, I want to go entertain. Why am I doing this thing? Not entertaining. So I'm excited that I have a whole new world ahead of me of focus.
Yeah, man, I've never had to, I've thought about it because I panic. Like I panic when the money's not there and I'm like, I'm gonna have to go find a 9 to 5 again. And I'll always do, but the money's always been there. And like I said, recently we're having a moment. So like when you have those moments, then you stock money away.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I've learned mostly that I don't like, there's two things from a 9 to 5 job. It really leaves no time for self-care.
Yep.
Like I got up this morning and I was able to work out, get my coffee, and take care of myself before I need to start doing the things that I need to do. And the last office I was at, the boss would do that. And he would get pissed at everyone else if they were late, but he was 2.5 hours late.
Yeah.
The other thing is, and I know this isn't always true about a corporation, but if you're working somewhere and you're taking a salary, you're really just keeping someone else's dream alive. Like you're the one like helping them out. And I just have a tough time with that. I don't know for sure that I'll never go back to a 9 to 5, but if I do, I'm going to be super specific in the interviews about what I need, and what I will do. And I'll be like, and if this changes 3 months in, I'm leaving. Because if you're just going to tell me this to give me the job, to get me in here, because I'd probably go back, I may do something in content creation or social media for a company one day. Or I'll go back to graphic design and art direction and creative direction. But I'm going to be so specific, like on what I want and what I'm willing and not willing to do.
Yeah. 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 That's actually the plan I had. One was being an active EMT. I could always get back on the truck, but I know how soul sucking it is. It drains me. It's not for me anymore. a solid 15 years on the truck before moving off into other areas, and then still got back on, and still even in this last year got back on. But having that, I got to get on the schedule. It'll pay me, but it's the emergency. Like there's nothing else I gotta go do this. And then I was saying with you, is like any other job that I might apply for was very clear on here's what your job description says. This is all I'm doing because I've got other things to go do. And like you said, it does stress you out from time to time when for you when the monetization goes down, because I know that's where a lot of your income comes from. When all that happens, you do start breathing. Right now, we're in a spot where we've got money sacked away. We're pulling some until the because it's to pay the way the pays on the consultation starts this coming Friday. So I've done a whole 2 weeks of work basically before the money starts dropping. But once it starts dropping in, it's gonna be regular blah blah blah. So yeah, you find that balance, and you just if Peter had just looked behind him at the freaking boat and looked how far he had walked on water without looking down at the waves, he would have made it. Yep. And I'm Peter, but I look at the waves. God, you said it best. And that's where what would you call worker bee? Maybe a store 9 to 5 job is a normie job.
Yeah.
I got post normie clarity. It's like you said that thing about keeping someone else's drive alive. And when I took over that ambulance company and got a salary, I got to build it to the point, like I had free reign to the point that the EMS world thinks I'm the owner of that company, and was blown away by the people that I did tell when I left there that like, wait, you're not the owner. I was like, no, I was never the owner. Why do you think I kept introducing this guy that you never talked to? He's the owner. About 3/4 of the way through, when stuff started getting rough, he hit me with, because his whole dream was to have a boat and the keys and to just check in once a day or once a week to see how things are going with everybody. And because he envisions himself as kind of like a Mark Cuban kind of guy. But Mark Cuban has his hands in the things he has his hands in. And yes, he doesn't physically run every single company, but I'm sure he knows about what he needs to know about. But the idea of just checking in with the management, everything's running, And he hit me with, about 3/4 of the way in, he hit me with, man, I have that dream of that boat and the keys. And every time I look at the bank account, I see it getting further and further away. And why can't I get to my boat? And I thought it, but I didn't say it. I wasn't true to me, because now I'm like, that's a you problem, dude. I'm not trying to get to a boat. I got to where I wanted to get with this company. It's running the way I want it to run. And I'm doing my digital media stuff. If you want something different, you got to do it. I didn't say any of that. I just took his problem on and try to keep his dream alive. And yeah, it was when I left there and I decompressed, because that's the other thing you don't realize when you're in. Now, mine was a higher level. It was a leadership thing. I was building a company, all that other jazz. Stuff I'd done for myself in the past. I've built some networks that I then retired, because network wasn't for me. But DragonCon's technically a job. I didn't build DragonCon, but I'm building a digital media track. But again, it's something that I do, and there's a boundary, and I hand off, and I get to put myself into it. And then somebody else will put themselves into it later when I hand it off. But you get compressed. You just get used to what you're doing all the time. And so as I came out of compression, I went, he hired me to be me. What was successful was when I was being me, up to this point where even being me, we took over this company that's 3 times our size in 2 weeks and tripled our reach and everything else. But we abandoned our values. We did not stick to our principles, our cores, our processes, because we'd have to fire a whole lot of people, and we didn't have to downsize that company. But we went standard EM, and that's where that's where the crack broke. And I failed. And the only time I will say I failed in my job was because I wasn't being me. I should have said, nope, I will stand on this. I will die on this hill. This is how we do it. And I didn't do that. And I would dare say, if you went back to anything outside of working for yourself, you now would be the same way I am, which is, no, this is who I am. This is what I want to bring to the table. If it's not the right fit, it's not the right fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would totally Office Space it. I don't know if you've ever seen Office Space.
Oh, I've seen Office Space.
Peter Gibbons, the way he just kind of just starts to chill and like do his own thing. It's like, that's the way I would be. I mean, I would obviously do my job, but because I want to bring home the paycheck. But it's like you realize when you're working at a 9 to 5 sometimes too, like how much time you're wasting during the day. It's like you're sitting there and like, for what? Like, let me do my work and then go home and pay me the same amount. But that's not how they see it. You know, it's like, we're gonna get you for 8 hours no matter what. And in jobs that I was in, the last job I was in a leadership role, and other places I was always art director, creative director, and it's like I never had any power either. Like and see what you were saying is you had like free reign and stuff. I would have loved that at least.
Yeah.
But
because then you get to figure out if your ideas work or not.
Yeah. It was always my boss who's like a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
Trying to do my job too. And it's like, and once I finally realized that when I'm at a company, I'm like, cool, I'll show up and collect the paycheck and do my work. But I've pushed as hard as I can, and you don't want my expertise. You want your expertise. You just want to kind of say, hey, we've got Josh as a creative director, and that's like where it ends. But
they want you to go draw it or execute it. But here's what I want. But that's not a director. That's a technician, if you will.
And then some of my employees, some of them are sensitive to that, and they hate it, that they know they've got to go to two different people to get real answers. And then some of them are kind of looking at me like, why are you in the position? And it's like, do you not understand what's going on here?
Yeah.
So those are the ones I can't deal with, because I'm like, I can tell you think you can do it. And I would love for you to be in this position, because then you would just see how you cannot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and I don't want to be. I mean, so after I left that company, and I won't talk about generational trauma here in a second, but after I left that company, some other things came up, and like even with the government, like right now, Department of Health is who runs the Office of EMS in Georgia, and the head, a director of education, whatever they title it, has decided to move on to do different things. And I got that sent to me because I was like, hey, you'd be great at this. I'm like, they would never, not in that position, I wouldn't, because it's governmental, and government is stupid. And I've already seen some of the inside baseball and all that. The first thing I saw was he's always in a suit and tie. Nope. Not going to happen. That's just not me. I'm not going to show up in a suit and tie. I don't care, because it has nothing to do with what I'm trying to tell you or how I'm trying to connect with you. Another one was a VP of operations, which is basically what I was doing at another company. And I was like, no, because they won't hire me, because I'm going to say, I'm going to Lee Iacocca them. I'm going to go. Okay, that's an old reference for people. Lee Iacocca was this guy who went to Chrysler, saved him, took a salary of $1 for the year, but at the end of it, he had a huge payout, whatever, blah, blah. But I was going to go in and go, I need a contract that says you cannot terminate me for an entire year, or you buy my contract out for X amount of money. Because what I'm going to come in is I'm going to gut this place with all the caustic people that are here. People, I'm going to put a head on a spike, say this is the way, and then those who don't get along will get out. Because I know that's what's needed in EMS, because reasons. And so your profit's going to drop drastically for 3 months. But I know for a fact, because I did it before, it's going to come back up. And then we're going to be exactly where you want to be, if that's actually what you want to do. And nobody's going to do that, because this particular EMS place was corporate, not a sole proprietorship. And they need margins, and they need bottom lines. And as long as it doesn't hurt their bottom line, they don't necessarily care about the causticness or the attitudes or we're not going to get in line with, hey, you said you wanted this level of education across the board. We don't care. We're not doing that. So that generational trauma is, as Gen X, millennials, we have been brainwashed into believing you go to a job and they pay you $50,000 a year to do the job, but if you rise above and you do more, you'll get recognized and you'll get bonuses and promotions and this and that and the other. Lies. It is not that way anymore, and it hasn't been that way probably for decades. Same with, my grandfather he did the military for 20 years and retired, and he did Pratt and Whitney, who makes airplane engines, for 20 years and retired. So he got two, but that was his whole career, was two places and done. And even as I was coming up, my dad was a preacher, but he was the outlier. His last church he landed at, he did 17, 18 years, which is unheard of for a preacher. Usually it's 5, 6 years, and they move on for whatever reasons. But there was no, you can work from one place and retire. Now there's no. That's what I love about Gen Z right now is, God, I really do want to smack somebody when they're serious about going, this generation doesn't want to work. No, this generation doesn't want to get abused. They're just asking you, why are you asking me to do more? Did you not hire me to run these things, to do this job? This is a job description, and you're paying me this money. We agreed on this money to do this job description. You want me to do more? Pay me more, and I'll do it, which is perfectly reasonable. Because if you're not working out, Josh, and go, hey, here's your options, man. This is not a great fit. Here's why it's not a great fit. This is what we want. This is what you're producing. You don't seem happy, or blah blah blah. You go through all the conversations and go, would you like your old job back, or would you like to search for opportunities elsewhere?
Yeah.
And people, well, that's too much trouble. No, it's not. In EMS, we are spending, dude. I won't get off on a tangent, but if you go through the big fire departments, they're spending maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars to get somebody educated. They'll take you off the street. They'll get you through EMT. They'll get you through paramedic. They'll get you through fire school. All that takes about 1.5 to 2 years before you hit the streets to work for them. And there's people that will get out, work for 2 months, and then go work somewhere else. So you just spend all that money to train them. But they're just doing it because they still keep the majority of the people they put through it. So it's worth, if fire departments can do that, if EMS can go, I'll hire you today and put you on tomorrow, and then you quit, that's just life. That's how it works. So why aren't we doing it differently? Yeah. So I agree with Gen Z. I agree with anybody who says it was hard for me to transition that to go, oh, you're paying me this much. I'll leave with it, and you can finish it. I ramble, man. I like talking. I don't know if you know that. The coffee's kicked in.
Yeah. I have noticed you like talking. That's good. That's good for our podcast.
It is. But what do you think about this? What was your moment? My moment of transition to that thought process, I was working in an office. Just by the nature of who I am, how I figure things out, how the world is not a puzzle to me anymore. It's just, the matrix. I see the code. I was better than most people in that office. And I was results driven. And they came to me one day because I had my laptop up and watching a movie. And there's other people around, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching a movie because I've got ADD. This is not challenging enough. I've got headphones on. I'm answering my phone. What's the problem? I'm like, well, other people, I'm like, I'm not other people. Are you not getting your 20 reports a day and they're doing 10? Yeah. And they're like, so they compromise with me and say if I'd wait till after 5, blah, 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 blah. But it was results driven. At that point, I made a point. And so I got a little special treatment, but I was overperforming, giving them everything they wanted. And I was getting paid XYZ. Came up for race time. There was a guy who was on overnights. And when you did overnight, all you had to do was do leftover reports. There's no phones ringing. There's nobody in the office to bug you, ask you to do something else. It was just you and your computer and your music or TV or whatever. Just do the reports. He had to do 15. He routinely did 8 to 12 and always had excuses.
Yeah.
And so it come to raise time, and I got like a 3% raise, something like that, 2%, whatever they budgeted.
Okay.
He also got a 2% raise or whatever they budgeted. And that's when I, no.
Yep.
And now I can't necessarily hit minimums. I might now, but then I was like, okay, I'm still going to do 3 to 5 over the minimums because it makes me sleep better at night. But I had a 12-hour shift. I was done in 6 hours. And after that, I just built my podcasting empire. I did whatever I wanted after, and they were happy with it. So that was my moment of, you don't see the results different. You are just, I can't, you're speaking a foreign language. I cannot understand what you're putting forward. So now you no longer are worthy of my efforts. What was your moment?
Man, I think when I moved to Memphis, I was working at a really big church, and I came in like I did any other job, and I saw how I could do everything better. I could make all their design better, everything better. And I started to try to do that. And I was basically hit a wall every time. And they're like, just do what we did last time and change the dates.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, all right. So at one point, I went in because I'm working at a church, dude. And I'm like, hey, Rob, he was my boss. I was like, Rob, I feel like I'm robbing you guys because I'm done And the first 2 hours of the day, he's like, just, whatever. Like he just kind of
Didn't care.
at it.
Yeah.
So I started my first podcast. I started a clothing line. I started Uploads of Fun. And then I realized that was kind of okay for them, that I was there probably just as a tax write-off. But the real moment might have been during, I think it was my 3rd year there, and I went out. My boss, he would always take 3 extra months to give me my yearly review. So it would hit a year, and it was like 3 months later, he'd give me my review. And he literally said this to me. He's like, yeah, you're doing really good, but Ron noticed you're leaving right at 5. Ron was my boss's boss.
Sure.
He's like, you might be leaving even a little bit before 5. And I'm like, no, I'm leaving at 5. I'm like, there's cameras right there. You can look. Go ahead and get the footage. Yeah. And I'm like, why can't I leave at 5? That's when we're supposed to be here till.
Yeah.
Well, putting in the extra effort, Ron's here late. I'm like, Ron's nearly 80 fucking years old.
He's got nothing better to do.
Why the hell is this dude not figured it out yet? Does he not we're at a church. Does he not love his wife? Does he not want to be with his family in the evening? And I'm like, I'm going to get my work done, which like I said, I'm done at noon anyways.
Yeah.
I'm leaving at 5. If that's going to be a problem, I'll talk to Ron, because my boss was kind of a pushover. He was kind of in that position of head of the creative department because they knew they could push him around. But anyways, that was kind of my moment. And then the only reason I transitioned from there not to Uploads of Fun full time is because the money wasn't there yet. But I went to an ad agency, and it was a lot more money, and it could get me through until that time. And I had the same conversation there with my boss. I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? You're not challenging me. You're not utilizing me. And you're telling your boss that. And he's like, it's cool. He's basically like, it's cool. Collect your paycheck and shut up. And I'm like, dude. Yeah. And then what really was crazy there was when the pandemic hit, this boss would not tell people what he wanted them to do. He would tiptoe around it. Everyone's like, we need to be at home working. We don't need to be in the office. No one's here. So he'd be like, you guys can work from home if you want.
Yeah.
It'd be better if you were here. I'd prefer that, but you can work from home if you want. So everyone's working from home, and then he's texting you on Slack, and he's like, why aren't you here? And I'm like, you jackass. So then the funny thing was, the first time everyone came back in because he wanted them there, not funny, but someone got COVID. And like 6 hours into the day, someone left. They called. They're like, I've got COVID. Had to clear the office out because he was one of those people who just didn't believe the pandemic was real. So there was him and a couple of his henchmen that were close to his circle of trust.
Sure.
Those guys that can do no wrong, that were in the office all the time. But real quick, before we move on, I need to jump in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna jump now.
Okay. So, I didn't know how much longer you had planned, but I've got a lunch at 11.
Yeah, we're good. This is the Little Brown Pill. It's been relatively awesome coffee.
I say Little Brown Pill, it makes me giggle. I love it.
Oh, no, that's a good podcast.